I'm Justin Rowe-Roberts of Biz News, and with me today is Neville Williams, Chief Financial Officer of investment holding company Remgro. Neville, there's so much to touch on. Lots happening within the Remgro stable, both in the listed and unlisted space. Let's start with one of the laggards in the portfolio that happens to be Remgro's largest constituent, that's Mediclinic. Ironically, hospital groups have been one of the industries worst affected by the pandemic as a result of the higher margin elective surgery restrictions. Has there been some improvement there as the pandemic restrictions have started to ease slowly?
Yes, Justin, for sure. If you look at Mediclinic's results to Remgro's headline earnings this year, maybe just I can explain. There is a lag. We equity account Mediclinic's results for the year, April 2020 to 31st March 2021. And you can imagine the full impact of that restrictive lockdown measures from April 2020 due to the COVID pandemic is included in the current year's Mediclinic results. And since April, with the gradual lifting of restrictions, Mediclinic has also improved their results and operations. So in South Africa, they were severely hit in that first few months of the COVID lockdown. But the other divisions, like in Switzerland and the Middle East, were actually not that severely hit. And they are already recovering back to pre-COVID levels, where they actually can institute a non-elective surgery. In South Africa, non-elective surgery is actually gradually coming back and with improved margins in Mediclinic South Africa's results.
Neville, another investee company that's listed, Distell, they're subject to a buyout offer from beverage giant Heineken. Given the cautionary announcement and Remgro's significant holding in Distell, I understand there's limited information you can shed on that. But for the purposes of the question, if the transaction does pass, what would Remgro use the 10 billion rand plus proceeds for?
Yeah, as you said, unfortunately, we are under a cautionary, as Distell has also announced a week or two ago that they still in negotiations with AB InBev, and hopefully we will get an announcement within the next week or two. So if I talk any more about this deal, I can land up in jail. Sorry for that, Justin.
I'm not looking to get you in any trouble, Neville. More interesting corporate action at RMI, where Discovery and Momentum are being unbundled to shareholders. Market loved it, with RMI up nearly 20% since Monday. I assume Remgro had significant influence over the new streamlined PNC insurance model, with OUTsurance and Hastings being the main two constituents going forward for RMI.
Yes, and the Remgro board has actually given its in-principle support for this deal. We support the RMI strategy going forward after the unbundling of the long-term insurance assets. But you remember, when the deal is implemented in Q2 2022, Remgro will also receive the direct interest in Discovery and MMH in his portfolio. So we are still supportive of the short-term as well as the long-term insurance industry. And as you can see, the market actually reacted very positive to that announcement.
I was talking to financial services analyst Koki Koyman the other day. He called Remgro visionaries, a company that moves with the times. Is that what we're seeing from Remgro, slowly moving out of traditional banking industries into more technology growth companies with further investment in groups such as CIVH?
Yeah, I mean, and that's also a strategy that our CEO Jan Durand has already announced to the market, looking at the portfolio optimization of our underlying investing companies. So we will focus on, say, turnaround assets in the bucket, growth assets like CIVH, as well as cash generating assets for sources of capital. So this is part of the rebalancing of our portfolio. And I mean, if you look at the underlying companies, they are very resilient and were very resilient during the last year, during the COVID period. And if you look at the results, excluding Mediclinic, the rest of the portfolio actually improved and are on a recovery path subsequent to last year's worst ever results in the Remgro's history.
CIVH's two main constituents, Dark Fiber Africa and Vumatel, are definitely seen by the market as the two most exciting avenues of growth for Remgro. What has trading been like within the space?
Oh, yes, this is the focus. This is our growth portfolio. And if you look at the Vumatel results for the last year, their revenue actually increased by around 50%. There's economies of scale, so the operating profit also increased by more than 60%, and that's because of accumulated subscriber growth uptake, as well as further network expansion. So on a growth path, and if you look at what the investment executive Peter Ace has actually told the market this morning, is that we hope to be profitable on a headline earnings basis in CIVH in 2023-24 financial year.
Holding companies have a perennial problem of discounts to its net asset value. Remgro's discount to NAV was unchanged at 35%. What are management looking to do to reduce this discount?
So management can only focus on what we have under control. We don't control the discount. I think it's the shareholders and the market that actually view and control the discount. But we will focus on growing our underlying investment portfolio on an earnings basis, a cash earnings basis, as well as an INAV accretive basis. So that's what we focus on. And hopefully the market will see the underlying value and value creation ability of management going forward.
Neville, reading through the results this morning, there's lots of mention of a big ESG drive. It seems more of a tick box exercise for companies these days, given its qualitative characteristics. How does Remgro measure its ESG progress or performance?
So ESG is actually a focus point for this year, and we've also included in our share schemes the key performance indicators, also an ESG component. So ESG is at the forefront of Remgro as well as the portfolio companies, and for sure, I think it's the right thing to do in this day and age, and we will follow this approach. And it will also be part of our management performance evaluation process going forward.
I'm Justin Roberts of BizNews, and you've been listening to Remgro's Chief Financial Officer, Neville Williams.